Would you support a mandatory retirement age of 75 for U.S. House, U.S. Senate and U.S. Supreme Court justices, and if not, why? 70. And as for President, no one can run over 65 FFS. Get with the program, folks, just retire. I personally believe 65 should be the age we see everyone retire at. This should also be the age limit for the government officials in office to help set that precedent. I personally believe 65 should be the age we see everyone retire at. I mean, 62 is retirement age. Just that a ton of people can't afford to actually retire at that age. Edit, 62 is early retirement. Thank you to the 150 people who told me. For now. By the time millennials are 62, the retirement age will almost certainly be raised to 67, and that's if we even have Social Security anymore. Only the wealthy will retire before that. Fun fact, the SS retirement age is already 67. In what you young folk would call a boomer, and my retirement age is already delayed to 67 under current rules. Though I'm eligible for Medicare at 65. Medicare is what really does it for a lot of people. My parents are in their early 60s and would be retiring if they wouldn't have to go put of pocket 50 or 60K a year for healthcare until Medicare kicks in. This. Save all you want for retirement, but don't forget about SAFSA etc., or you'll be reamed with healthcare service bills in the US before Medicare eligibility. I know so many seniors who work not because they need the income, but they desperately need that healthcare coverage until they are Medicare age. It's sick. Back on topic, 65 for politicians for sure. Enjoy your retirement and let the younger folks help shape their future. Pretty sure you've already laid yours out at this point. So not FSA. FSA dollars disappear at the end of the calendar year if they aren't spent. FSA is there forever. That reminds me, I gotta blow up a bunch of my FSA money. A tip for folks who need to use up some FSA cash before the end of the year: www.fsastore.com. Yes. We have age minimums. We need maximum age limits. These people are making decisions for a future they won't be involved in. This. If ageism is in place at the low end, it should also be in place at the high end. Especially since I think plenty of 34-year-olds are very much valid as president, which has a hard requirement of 35, and yet we have Chuck Grassley, at age 89 and a total shitbird, cruising along in the Senate without a care. Same with Dianne Feinstein. She hasn't been senator for as long, 1992 versus 1980, still a long time by any means, and she's about to be 90 years old. That's duckin' wild. Age requirement of 65, 2-term limit, Congress people serve 4-year instead of 2-year terms, and no campaigning more than 60 days before the election. And candidates can only use funds provided by public funds, tiered for each stage of the election process, with strict reporting requirements on where how that money is spent. That's what's happening in France. We have a former president on trial for illegal funds. Yes, we need people who are in good mental shape to lead the country, and at around that age cognitive decline becomes more noticeable in many people. I agree. Who seeks out an 80-year-old surgeon or any professional? Some are good, but you don't go looking for them. We do have a minimum age for senator and as president. Too bad the founding fathers didn't have the foresight to include a maximum age. I had a mid-70s orthodontist who was amazing, sharp, skilled, and caring. But for running the country? Yeah, cap it. A doctor is way better trained at their craft than politicians as well. Doctors have seminars they must attend and are constantly learning. Senators. Lol, nah, they stopped learning the moment they got elected. Didn't stop learning, just learned how to hold on to power rather than how to get into power. Totally different ballgame once your foot is already in the door. I am 82 years old. Personally, I feel that anyone my age who still gets off on power needs to be kept away from normal people. But to the point of this post, the world has been run by old people since the beginning of our species, and just look at the place. Yes, if you were intelligent to begin with, your wisdom and common sense will increase with age, but so will your cynicism. If you were a young jackass, you will become an old jackass, and a hidebound prejudiced old jackass at that. Give them a nice pension at 70, with the condition that if they mess with politics or government again they lose the pension. Terms limits for all of them, including the Supreme Court, would be fairer. Let voters decide if they should serve rather than age restrictions. No, the problem isn't age, it's our election system. Politicians get old in office because it's so ducking hard to vote them out. End legal bribery, end FPTP, and we'll see a much healthier turnover in our political processes. Yeah, I mean, have you seen the type of young people we have in Congress? If you're on the left, I'm talking about Matt Gaetz, MTG, Cawthorn, Lauren Boebert. If you're on the right, I'm talking about the squad. Young people obviously should be included, their voice matters, but having the Hoyers of Congress is what keeps the damn place actually operational. They know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two. Upvoted for so many salient points tucked into a reply. I grew up in Michigan, where term limits, especially in the House, mean that no one has much experience and everyone is looking for their next job from day one. It has increased the power of lobbyists, not the people. People can talk about term limits, age limits, any kind of limits they want, but there is only one kind of limit that matters: money limits. Behind all the political puppeteers, both Republicans and Democrats, are always a bunch of billionaires and multimillionaires funding whoever will give them the biggest monopoly. Until you do something about the money, nothing else matters. I feel like if we were to attach an age to it, it should be the age of retirement, but I feel like it would be more important to have term limits. Limits would fix almost all the same issues and address more, without arbitrarily deciding someone is too old to serve the state. No need to give more incentive to raise the retirement age. I would go even younger at 70, sure, that may mean we would lose Bernie, we would also be ditching McConnell, Pelosi, and the other fossils in office who refuse to address the problems we face. They refuse to address the problems because they created the problems decades ago. Absolutely, not to mention they are being paid not to address them. Mom said it's my turn to post this. No, it's your turn to complain about daylight savings time. Tomorrow you can post about this. Mine says it's his turn to complain about weed-for-profit prisons. I've got daylight savings time. Are you looking at the October 2022 sheet or the November one? Oh, you're right. I still have the October one in my hand. My bad. I'll be the contrarian. If you're good, regardless of age. I'll take a 75-year-old who is smarter, savvier, and better representative of my values than a 35-year-old. If you don't like them because they're senile, don't vote for them, that's all. Honestly, I feel the same about lower age limits that aren't just the age of majority. No, because it should be 55 or at worst 60. No way, it should be older than retirement age. Definitely not. People over 75 have just as much right to representation as those under 75. Ageism is not okay. This is about as enlightened as raising the voting age to 30. I am a bigger proponent of term limits for both representatives and senators. 6 terms for House and 2 terms for Senate. It's time to stop making a career out of public service and time to remember that it is a civil duty. Age limits 65 it should be. Also term limits, and when they retire get SS and Medicare just like the rest of us. No insider trading, same laws we abide by. Make it 60. No, unfortunately. As much as I hate lifetime politicians or out-of-touch politicians, maximum age requirements suppose that you cannot legislate effectively as you get older. That doesn't seem right. Your experience, results, and politics should govern your electability, not your age. Absolutely, 100%. I'm baffled by the Trump people going on about how Joe Biden is too old. They're all too old. Trump is only like 4 years younger than Biden. They're all senile whack jobs. Sure, some better than others, some much better, but it's still a lousy standard. These people should be in a nursing home or just go live in retirement, not run the government. Plus their disgusting attitudes need to die also. Actually, I'm not in favor of this idea. Instead, I think they should pass a battery of psychological and logic reasoning tests, as well as testing on basic scientific principles, law, and civics. Fail any section, you're disqualified. Tests should be repeated every few years. Test them at every age. No. On the one hand, we want younger people and non-career politicians in the Congress. On the other, we have a mechanism for that, voting. By mandating age limits, you are eroding the pool of candidates. If age of a candidate is really a problem, then it's up to their opponents to make that an issue on election day. Then it's up to the voters to decide if age is really important or not. It is their congressperson, after all.